It's indeed my absolute pleasure to invite on the show a very, very special guest, somebody who's done extremely well for himself and has done the nation proud. Ravichandran Ashwin, thank you so much for taking your time out during these troubled times and speaking to me. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much, RK. Yeah, to begin, so far so good. The situation is quite unprecedented, and we are not playing sport. There's not enough available sport on television either. So we're having to reminisce from the past and go back and watch videos and try and do with whatever we're having to do within the house. It's challenging, but new territories are always exciting because it teaches you a thing or two and you can come out of it as a better person, better individual.
You talked about new territories. One of the things that I've observed with you in the recent times is you've been extremely active on social media. You've got your own show, Reminisce with Ash. You're interacting a lot more with people. Not that you've never interacted, but you interact a lot more. Is that a conscious decision from you, Ashwin?
There are two sides to the coin for being more active on social media. One is obviously, I think there is a requirement for, I mean, even early on when I started talking about it, coming out on social media, I was talking a lot about the COVID breakout, trying to spread across messages. But somewhere down the line, I felt it is spreading a lot of negativity, when you keep talking about something. And even at home, when I'm talking to my parents about trying to create some contingency plans, emergency, how to get life on after all these things hopefully finish, there is a sense of resentment amongst them, okay? They are actually, a lot of people tend to be, I get the feeling that they are sitting inside a room and closing their eyes and believing everything is okay, So I felt like I need to interact with fans in a way they will probably forget about the existing situation, enjoy about things that I'm good at. So if I get to do that, I will also have an avenue through which I can communicate certain small things that I can. And that was the initiative where in between I got a different personality, a collector who is on ground, and hopefully that will resonate with the audience a lot more. And point number two is I somehow feel you don't get opportunities in the run-of-the-mill day-to-day work that we have to sit down and take notice of what the fans are thinking of you, what the fans are looking like. And you don't get the sense of wanting to put yourself out there. But somehow, because of the gift of communication that I've got, when I speak in those 2-3 minutes in press conferences and apart from whatever interviews, people don't quite get to know me. So there is probably a misconception about who exactly I am and what exactly I am. So I love my humor. I take life very easy. On the contrary to what people believe that they see me on the park. So it's an effort to try and show them or tell them, hey, look, I'm not probably as you see on screen. So don't picturize me the way you want me to picturize me.
Interesting that you say that, because when somebody sees you on screen, there are a couple of things that comes to one's mind. I mean, confident, somebody who speaks his mind out, somebody who thinks incredibly hard. So what is the perception, or what's it that you found out during the course of the last 1 week or 2 weeks? Because look, go on.
Sorry, RK, go ahead.
No, there are a lot of people who have spoken to you about the art of off-spin. There are a lot of people who have spoken to you about the mental aspect of it. But in this show, I want to be slightly different. I want to talk to you about the perception of an Ashwin that exists in the minds of the people versus the Ashwin who actually is. So how would you look at both these sides? And what did you find out of the last week or so?
You said thinking hard, very studious, and you're very complimentary, right? And you can't expect everybody to be complimentary, and there will be derogatory statements that are made. And I know a thing or two about it. People might think that I'm arrogant because sometimes it is not their way of life. It is not their way of operation. I'm too straight. And a lot of people in the last 10, 11 years that I played cricket, played with those who have observed me, those who have been well-wishers, those who have been detractors, they have given me feedbacks of saying, hey, you know what, should you try and be a little diplomatic? Because you know what, straight trees are cut first. Maybe people don't, all the time you don't have to give an opinion. It can put people off. So these are feedbacks that have come my way, but I've chose to tread a path that I'm very comfortable with. In the sense of saying, I have been comfortable because when there is a question posted at me, I answer that question, okay? I don't see what answer will fit the brand value here. What will make me more appealing to a brand? What will make me appealing to the people? No, I've always been self-taught. I've always been, so to say, if people don't agree with me, they can call me rebellious. But that's That's just the way people think, because I am not aligned to the 10 fingers that they think I should be like, you know? So I am completely okay with it, because if you don't have rebellious people out there, if you don't have people who think for themselves, it's going to be very hard to put history out there, because all people that have gone on to achieve have been either ridiculed or been offended at some stage, but I've never really taken offense, because for me, when I communicate something out there to the people, it's genuinely heartfelt. It's not with the perception of saying I need to win brownie points here. It's not with the effort to say, hey, you know what? I'm aligning with you. Can you come and be my fan? No, I've never made such attempts. I've been very earnest. I stand for who I am, and it's up to the people to. I'm not saying it's not good to adapt. I'm ready to adapt, but the point is, hey, you need to tell me I need to adapt. You need to tell me you don't agree with me. It's fine. It's just okay to not agree with someone. That's something that needs to change, and I believe that will change over a period of time.
Does it come with the system that we normally operate in, Ashwin? It's fascinating to hear you speak, because I would assume, because we all interact in our respective industries, not just broadcasting, across industries, we all professionals interact with people. Is it almost, I wouldn't say norm, but is it almost usual to be diplomatic? And therefore, people like you are, again, I wouldn't say shocked to the system, but you are in a minority. Am I fair to say that on the basis of the observation of the society in general?
Of course, and I don't find it like, you know, scary to be a part of the minority. In all honesty, because
Sure.
Two things it does. One, it sets me apart, and the second, it leaves me in a zone to express myself. I am who I am. You know, you have a lot of people who mend their ways in order to flourish their professional career. They mend their ways to please people. All this is natural, and I don't judge them, because, you know, everybody at the end of the day needs to succeed in the way they see it's right. But on the other hand, I also believe me being who I am and true to myself gives me the happiness. I am a liberated soul. I'm a happy soul. And if I have to mend myself to the way that somebody likes, or if I make an attempt to please someone, it bothers me. It nags me, you know, in the sense of saying, okay, hey, look, what do you think of me? Do you think I should have been different today? Do you think I should have done this, done that? Oh, come on. If you're looking for feedbacks, it's right out there. People are giving you 10 feedbacks. You know what's true and what's not. Take the right feedbacks. Who better than your parents or your wife or someone to give you a feedback? But are you opening your ears for a feedback from them? Maybe not. But what really I think sets me apart is the fact that I am open, I am straightforward, I am brutally honest, but at the same time, I can take a feedback.
Say, for example, if somebody is talking to you, if somebody doesn't know you, yes, you are brutally honest, but does it also put off a few people in the sense that, look, he's extremely honest, he could be curt, if that is a word that I could use, in a completely different sense. And therefore, what if I say something that could make him even more angry at me or something to that extent? Have you had that kind of a feeling from people that you might have expected feedback from but did not get?
Okay, what really is anger, Arki? Anger is an emotion, okay? It's a reaction. And for me to get angry, it doesn't work. If I respond to a situation, I can avoid anger. But for me, if you give me a feedback, I will question you. If you say something that's disturbing for me, I will question you. My question is not anger. My question is for me to search for answers. Hey, look, this guy has given me something to think about. Okay, let me just dig deeper. Is it just a feedback that's given because he doesn't like my ways? Or is it a feedback because he wants me to improve? But you can be rest assured, if it is for improvement, I will be the first person that will work on it, starting then.
Yeah, okay, let me put it this way. So give me an example of somebody or a situation where you had an argument or a debate or a discussion, and post which, you were a lot better than what you were at that point in time. Give me a sense of this discussion.
It could have been a lot. For
yeah,
me,
sure.
honestly,
it could be with your father, it could be with your coach, it could be with just about anybody around you.
It happens in my life every day, unlike everybody else. You know, probably once, probably thrice a day. You know, I do it in the morning with my wife, in the afternoon with my dad, and evening with my mom. So it's just before we started the conversation, my mom was giving me a feedback on how I should be doing the Reminisce series on Instagram. You know, I don't know how many parents would come and do that, and that's in the DNA of my family. If you look at it, we are we search perfection. Perfection is not there, but we search it, and there is no harm in searching for it. Only on the way to searching for perfection do you find excellence. It's a path. But unfortunately, I think, I'll just give you an example then. So there is this perception when in the Tamil Nadu team, when we go on Ranji trophies, or when we talk, when we discuss and debate about cricket, people often find saying it's very difficult to win an argument. That's because I haven't got my answers.
Okay.
So if you don't have enough to back up your claim, then you will, I'm sorry, you will come second in the argument. But you need to understand that if you come second in the argument, I haven't got my answers. And so let's just say this. I had this debate with a coach long ago about how running in angularly to the crease will help me get side on at the crease. Okay. My first question was, why should I get side on at the crease? Okay. Then he goes, Venkatraghavan was side on. Erapalli Prasanna was side on. But hey, Venkatraghavan played in the 80s. Prasanna probably played alongside him. And perhaps their body dynamics was different. Perhaps their thought process was different. Perhaps the era in which they bowled was different. But I don't want to be any of them. I want to be me. Again, the point that I reiterated, I want to be true to myself. If I don't be true to myself, I lose the happiness. I lose the purpose of living, which is essentially what I live for.
How would you use the word success a while back, right? So how would you define success in your mind, and how do you look at success overall?
Success for me is getting up on a particular day and sleeping on that same day thinking, wow, I had a great day. That's success to me. So if you're looking for real definitions of, let's say, numbers, number of wickets, number of hundreds, having a great day, winning a game, losing a game, no. It's being true to yourself again. Get up in the day, get up in the morning, do your work to the best possible, honest way you can. Try and be excellent at it for the day, because if you're aware of the work that you're doing on that day, you will know what you're searching for. If you know what you're searching for, at the end of the day, you will have an answer whether you've had a great day or not.
But how do you separate it? How do you graduate to that level? Because what you say is just awesome. But there are a lot who will be listening to this conversation and say, yes, we understand probably this is the way we need to look at life, but it's not as easy as it seems for a lot of people listening into this conversation, perhaps. So how do you perhaps graduate to that level where you separate, say, the process from the result?
I'll define the day for me then. Sure. This morning I began at 5:30. I helped a few budding cricketers with the knowledge that I had. I shared it with them. Then I had a great breakfast, like with sitting across a table, having coffee, discussing with my wife and dad about where the coronavirus is headed. I had a great contribution from my helper who's helping us with food. So after that, I've joined you with the conversation. So for me, I have got the opportunity to not just have an engrossing way of communicating and contributing to others, but also the opportunity to have a conversation, which is exciting for me.
Yeah.
I will probably go back depending on the rest of the day. I have so many more things lined up, but going back tonight when I go to sleep, I will know I've given it all. I probably contributed to so many people. I might have been reason for so many people to smile. Maybe not a reason for many other people not to smile. Let's say I mentored 20 people today. 10 people would have benefited and 10 might not have. But I have an opportunity tomorrow. That makes me happy. I'll get up again, contribute to the rest of the time. It's just seeing what's ahead of you and being happy for it, for the opportunity it presents you. And at the same time, being really content with what you've achieved today. So both of these come if you can be extremely aware of yourself and have a purpose in life every single day. I somehow feel we lose the purpose for a day.
Is it something that you grew up to become as one? Or was it a part of you from a very, very early part of your childhood, perhaps?
I learned it. And I learned it because I played cricket, and I find the cricket community not having answers for the questions that an inquisitive boy might have. I had a bad pathway as I was a cricketer when I started from 13 to 19. Constantly ridiculed by people for, talking too much, asking too many questions, being like, the other feedback that you constantly get is he knows it all. I don't know it all. Why do you get the feeling that I know it all? Because I'm expressing it? No, that's not how it is. I don't know it all. And because I want to know it all is why I'm asking you questions. So, for example, I had this feedback when I was playing under 17s from a coach saying, hey, you know what? You're a very good cricketer, but you're just too slow on the field. You can't reach the ball that other people are able to reach. So I just listened. It was brutally honest. And This is not the first time I'm hearing it. I had people constantly yelling at me saying, you're slow, go from here, go stand there, run around. I've been having people who used to pull me behind my t-shirt and I had to run. I used to be humiliated in front of 15, 20 people, be yelled at and all these things. But it never stopped me from questioning, because the only motive in my head was, I need to be better at this. I know I'm not better at it. So when I asked the question to the coach, I put it back. So, sir, yeah, you're right. What do I do? Didn't have an answer. And one of the coaches standing next to him say, you should go to the gym. Okay, sir, go to gym and do what? Didn't have an answer. So now immediately, because is it okay for people to get humiliated in a group and not be questioned in a group? So that's quite silly, because that's the first thing I inculcate into my system, where I have my own cricket institute, where I tell the coaches, it's great to be questioned. If you don't know the answer, be honest. Tell them I don't have an answer. I'll think about it and come back. That's as honest as one can be, RK. And I found that through the childhood, as I kept questioning, I realized it was not me at fault. It was people that didn't have answers were at fault. Because they couldn't answer me, they humiliated me.
And therefore, Ashwin, looking at it from a very different perspective, so you spoke to different people, you perhaps did not find answers, and therefore eventually you found a few people that were always good at giving you the answers that really appeal to you, and also situations, therefore you were able to find your own path towards seeking answers. Would that be the right way of describing you at this juncture?
Okay, trying to be not so spiritual, but I'm going to give this to you.
Sure.
There is a popular saying that when the student is ready, the coach will arrive. Have you heard this?
Oh, yeah.
When the shishya, the guru will arrive. I think it's true, because despite all this humiliation and lack of answers through my life and through my career, because I had the resolve and the gift of saying, I will question because I want excellence, I eventually started finding people that gave me answers. They followed me, they reached me. It sort of felt like a cosmic message saying, hey, look, you've made yourself eligible for this. Now you will start getting answers. So it's about the search, you constantly search for something. That's what they say, try until you succeed. Failure is a stepping stone to success. What does it mean? Does it mean that you fail today and tomorrow it will succeed? No, you fail until you find success. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be day after. It could be excruciatingly painful that it never happens in your life. But you can be very proud when you're in your deathbed to tell yourself, hey, you know what? I tried. I wasn't lucky enough to be getting the answers. Maybe someone else was. That's very possible. But that is like on the top of my head, You should always believe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's what you live life for. Hope. Life is hope.
Excellent. And as in Shawshank Redemption, they say hope is a wonderful thing. But look, let me not get to that part of it. I'll just gradually go to that. But this is fascinating. This is very, very intense. And therefore, we want to dive a little bit deep into Ashwin, the person, besides coaching kids, besides imparting knowledge, besides him being the cricketer. What does he do to unwind? What does he do to unwind?
Whatever I just told you is unwinding for me.
Awesome. That's exactly what I thought you would say.
Because how can you construct a life to just be doing nothing? You can't construct a life like that. And for me, the first biggest challenge when you're locked down in the house is to do something. Fill yourself with work to do. Contribute in whatever way you can. They speak about mental health. They speak about challenges. So a lot of people came to me saying, you know what, cricket is a sport outside here. Now you're all stuck in the house. Is the sport going to survive? How are the kids going to play? It's a physical sport. You can't play. Oh, really? You're saying it cannot be played? It cannot be practiced? It cannot be coached? Okay, well, let me show you. It is possible, because that's how I became a cricketer. That's the way, that put the building blocks of my cricket. And I have been, so to say, voicing this out a lot. When I grew up, there was a lot of gully cricket. When I was still not even a reality in this world, my father's generation were playing only cricket on the roads.
Sure.
And if not inside the house, because it was very hot, and the kids of this generation have lost it. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're not able to pick up as quickly as some of our generations. It's not their fault. It's the fault of PlayStations. It's the fault of electronic gadgets, where they don't have the time to throw the ball on the wall, imagine themselves to be a Sachin Tendulkar and hit the ball out of the ground. Mm. So this gave me an opportunity to reflect on all these things and said, okay, we will structure something. I put my mind to it because it's a challenge. Then I put a structure to it. That makes me extremely intense, doesn't it? but I enjoy the process of structuring it. I enjoy it, and that's unwinding for me. Because if I sit in a corner and have a cup of coffee and watch movies, I feel like I rot.
In terms of the books that you read, are you into reading, Ashwin?
Yeah, reading is one thing that I do for unwinding massively. Movies, listening to music. I think nothing like music. It's like therapy. It just like completely loosens me off.
What kind?
And even sorry,
what kind?
Any movie.
Okay.
Even if somebody has an opinion on the movie saying it's not great, I watch it because I don't know if it's some sort of a thing, but I've enjoyed so many movies that people find ridiculous. I enjoy it because I like it for the work that somebody's put it in, because they made the effort to entertain us. And for me, switching off is watching the movie without a purpose. So that is switching off. I used to read a few autobiographies and all that when I started off. But then I moved away from it because I find autobiographies too stimulating in the way of trying to doctor you towards a certain thought process. So I shifted to fictions. I shifted to time-related fictions where they connect the reality to the modern day or whatever it is. Some old stories, Ashwin Sanghi, Amish Tripathi's, Clive Cussler. All these are books that I love to read. And there is this. I love murder mysteries. When I read books, and now, like I've been putting out, I'm reading Ponniyin Selvan, and I find it, oh my God, these are like unbelievable work. And the biggest, I find books are even better than movies, one notch better, because it gives you the power of imagination. You are the director of that movie. So that's how I like it. If I read books through the day, I sleep even better.
In terms of watching other sport, in terms of playing other sport,
everything. When it was time. When it was time for Wimbledon, my entire street people used to play tennis before. If it was time for the FIFA World Cup, we used to play football on horrible roads and like platforms. So I might not look the most athletic now, but I've got a reasonable tendency for most sports, and especially racket sports. I've represented the state in ball badminton when I was young. Not so very good at proper badminton, but ball badminton, yes, I was pretty good. Used to play table tennis. Very, very good at it. Maybe Pujara won't agree because he's beaten me a few times. But yeah.
Interesting that you mentioned ball badminton, because I used to live a lot inside the IIT Madras campus, and there was this one place where there was one set of people who used to constantly come and play ball badminton. I used to get fascinated by that. But I'm a huge football fan. Any particular club that you love and follow?
Unfortunately, I'm not much into club football.
Okay.
I watched the World Cup closely. I watched the World Cups very closely because somehow I don't know, I couldn't relate to football in the club fashion from the very beginning. And more so, I used to follow a team that my cousin loved. I don't want to bring the team's name out, and they aren't doing very well right now. But
okay, let me ask you this. I want to ask you the question directly. Is it pretty much the same color that of the T-shirt that you're wearing? Is that the club T-shirt? That's not the club T-shirt, but the color. No. Okay.
I know who you're asking. No, it's not. But I mean, I don't follow it very religiously. Okay. But if I'm in England and if there is a Premier League game, I go and watch it. Watch it for just the theatre of it and just the quality of football. But World Cup football, I'd never miss anything.
Any particular country that you love the brand of football? Sorry?
Spain.
Oh, Spain, is it? All right. Just a couple of things, Ashwin. One is, I mean, in modern day cricket, there's so much focus on analytics, right? There's so much data that is available to players as well. So as a sportsman, as an individual, as a spinner, as somebody who watches the game, how much do you personally rely on that data, and how much do you allow your instincts possibly to take over?
I don't know exactly how to pin this down, but I think I have a photographic memory when it comes to the sport. Like to say, you can even call it like a videographic memory. So I've got insane memories when it comes to cricket matches and the kind of activities that happen in the match, situations before the game, conversations before the game, conversations before a particular ball, like what the umpire said, which place. I mean, hilarious kind of things. If I count it out, people will start thinking, I mean, what's this guy? Is the guy even mad? So from that perspective, I rely a lot on it. And whenever I feel like there is a missing chord, I go back to technology. And I use technology a lot in terms of, sometimes when you're bowling, you don't see a lot of things that the batsman is doing. You just go and land it there and rely on your instinct to judge what the batsman is doing. But when you watch videos, you can pick small cues from the fact that saying, okay, this ball, this batsman is going to step out. This ball, this batsman is going to sweep. This ball, this batsman wants to play it off the back foot, whichever way you bowl it. So these are small cues that I can pick from the video. And once you pick it, I have managed to like properly nail few batsmen when I've done that.
Any particular any particular dismissal that you can relate at the top of your mind that you said, okay, this is what I had planned. I know there'll be quite a few, but something that gave you immense satisfaction.
Have you heard of premonitions?
Yeah, of course.
So there was this planning that happened in 2014 T20 World Cup. Myself, Rohit, and Dhananjay, the then analyst, were sitting in the back of the bus, and we were going to play West Indies the next day. And I felt Dwayne Smith was hitting the ball, like he was cracking it up in the front, and it gave Chris the time to settle in. Okay,
sure.
But if we nailed Dwayne Smith, and Chris also played the way he plays up in the six, we'll put a lot of pressure on the Windies. So I was operating with the new ball, and all of a sudden I went and asked Rohit, what do you think of me going around the stumps and bowling carom ball onto Dwayne Smith's pads? He asked me why. Because in the top of my head, I feel like Dwayne Smith just falls over with his head. You know, he just keeps falling over. And I think his access to leg side is pretty bad. The only option he'll be having is to just put bat on ball and try and sweep. And I can adjust my field accordingly such that the angles are correct. And he just thought for a while and he said, hey, tu kya bol raha hai? Then I went and said, no, I will show you videos. I called DJ. And when I played those videos, Rohit like, हाँ यार, तू सही कह रहा है, 100% कर सकता है. So the next day I did it, and he just kept sweeping, missing, and eventually he got out cotton ball. And same game, the next time when we played South Africa, I expected Hashim Amla to stand on leg stump and leave the ball pitched outside leg stump, such that I will come outside off and he can play me through the offside. Okay. Because my experience with Hashim Amla in the past was that he wanted to play everything into out, play everything towards the offside, irrespective of what spin you bowled. So I said, I am not leaving the pads for this guy. If he wants, let him just sweep. The first ball, as I imagined, he left that ball and it was a wide. And I said, hey, here is a great opportunity. If I just push the length up, he's not going to probably be ready for it. So I just pushed the length up and his feet didn't move, his just bat moved across and he got bowled, clunked. And this felt like proper premonition. And those are phases, not just one or two moments. Those are phases of cricket where I feel I can see wickets coming, you know. I can see things happening and it just happens. And that's probably because of my memory and also the kind of cues that I pick up from batsmen.
Awesome. Ashwin, listen, I mean, you've been wonderful in taking your time out and speaking to us. Let me just very, very quickly go to a few rapid fire questions. It'll be very, very quick one. Okay. If you didn't have to worry about anything in the world in terms of fitness or sport or whatever it is, what is that one dish that you would love to eat day in and day out?
One dish. I love a chola bhature.
Oh, nice. Okay, let me go on. What's that one bit of advice that is stuck with you forever?
Excellence. Be eligible for excellence.
Beautiful. What's the one advice that you would give Ashwin the person?
Just to be happy and keep smiling.
What is that one advice that you would give Ashwin the cricketer?
Yeah, that's what. Be Ashwin the cricketer?
Yeah.
Okay. Be true to yourself and be your first and best critic.
Okay. One household work that you can claim perfection in these days. Maybe I should ask Preeti that question, but I'll still ask.
Quite a few. Just cleaning around the house, folding linen, putting clothes out to dry. All these things are my specialty.
All right. Worst ever excuse that you've given Preeti to avoid some household work. Worst ever excuse. She's like, she should always be like, come up with a better one, Ashwin. You're better than this.
Yeah, we almost get into a tussle where we're saying, I've just done 60% work today and you've done 40. Whenever she asks me to do something, I go on that line and she says, really? Okay, what about the kids? Then I like, okay, yeah, you've done better. So that's how we do.
Lovely. Your favorite hero?
Amir Khan.
Movie? Favorite movie?
Across, I would say, oh my God, what did I say? The Invisible Guest.
Oh, that's a nice one. That was a very, very good one. Yeah. Love comedy? Your favorite a person that can make you laugh?
All time. Anyone who can crack a joke, anyone that can see the lighter side of life. I just love it. I mean, I can't name one comedian, but my all time has to come from Tamil. It has to be counted.
Awesome. Lovely. Ashwin, it's been really a big pleasure that you've been able to take your time out and speak to me. Seriously appreciate it, and hope regards to your family, and of course, stay safe and stay well. Thank you so much, as ever.
Thank you so much. Stay safe. Take care.